Alright everybody, welcome back to Jojo Overdrive. And today...
Chapter 857 of Crazy Diamond's Demonic Heartbreak.
That might be hyperbole, that might be a bit excessive, it might just be only 14, but then again, who knows?
We know everyone's reading this and it was anticipating.
Yes, we know the very popular
day
series,
by day, counting down the
Demonic
hours
Heartbreak.
until it's released.
Do you see the views that these videos get? Everyone's loving these. I'm loving these, so... I don't care. We're not doing this for the fame and the fortune. We're doing that so that the word of Whole Horse gets spread to everybody.
The most important chapter to come out this week.
Yes, the only JoJo-related thing to come out this week. I like this chapter a lot,
I liked this chapter more than last time, and it felt less fanfiction-y, which was good. But I did like the moment where it was like the most powerful sound of all, and it was the Muda Muda.
Yeah. A lot of more fun fan service in this.
Yeah, like freaking Hanged Man, dude.
Yeah, getting freaking J Guile getting referenced. Yeah.
J Guile.
That was a lot of fun. Also stuff like how they reference them getting their stand names from the tarot cards.
Yeah, that was so cool.
That's cool. They never like actually referred to that or whatever ever, but they did here. So that's cool. That's sick. Seeing Devo in general, Devo's like the bargain bin JoJo
I know.
villain.
That's like just completely no one remembers him. It was very funny.
It's great. And the fact that
it is funny though that the first chapter of JoJo Lands had Ebony Devil.
That's
and then
true.
Now we're seeing Devo the next month. Clearly we have some fans here.
People are fans of Devo the Cursed apparently. It's crazy. Yeah, I still think it's cool for as how Devo is more interesting in this like 3 pages he shows up in
than anything in part 3.
No, actually, he shows up in like 2 pages. Sorry, lied. He's way more interesting in this than in his fight in part 3. He's like mocking Whole Horse and everything. He's like, "You're not an emperor at all," and it's like, damn.
You are an usurper of false idol.
I like how Enya says that she thinks that the Emperor would have worked better for Hangman's stand or whatever, the stand name or whatever, but she's like, what am I to do about it? Not in the cards. That's fun. That's cool. And then we get to see the actual puppet itself or whatever. We get to see the Chucky doll.
Yeah.
That's also fun. Look at this. We got the whole entire gang here of references back.
I really like how they're tying this into Whole Horse's past here.
Yeah.
And it's pretty evident. Okay, I was gonna say it's evident that the next chapter is gonna be the last one, but they didn't announce it in the Ultra Jump that this is the last chapter.
They didn't say next chapter's the last one, so it might go on
again, I enjoy this series. So if he wants to do a time skip, because you have to do a time skip at this point. Yeah. I don't know, because they always announced Jojolian. They announced the next chapter's last chapter, so I would have assumed
they announced the second to last chapter for that one too. They were like, next is the penultimate chapter, so they didn't do just the last one.
And I get like that ran for 10 years, but this still has run for a year, like, and it's still a spinoff.
It'd be
like
strange to have
Jojo.
The next one just suddenly end without them like announcing it beforehand. But this, I could see it happening. It's not impossible.
Yeah. But we'll see. I mean, maybe even they just do a volume release with 1 extra chapter or something weird, but I doubt that. I think we're definitely... I don't know. But this feels like the story is coming to a natural conclusion.
Yeah, it feels like all the characters have gotten, like, character stuff at this point. Except for, ironically, Josuke, who can't get character stuff because he's not allowed because it takes place in the past. Which, again, this should have taken place after. There was absolutely no reason... I guess it's because they wanted Josuke alone. So, and Josuke met, like, everyone for the events of Part 4. And there was a way you could have made them separated. It wouldn't be that hard. But I do like, we get a lot of Whole Horse in this chapter, because seeing Whole Horse again was, like, the drawing...
point of it,
Like, that was what I most was anticipating. And we get more in this chapter.
I did find it funny, if you look at the manga version of them... Ryoko looks like a troll face.
She does! She does look like a troll face! Oh my god!
I thought that was
She's
pretty
doing
funny.
that troll thing. It's so funny. Yeah, that's great. We get the detour will get you there the quickest. That's part 7. That's lesson 5 right there. Wow. Is a horse about to learn spin or something? What's happening here?
Horse is like, my real name is Caesar Zappelli Jr.
What the hell? That would be like George Joestar territory.
Yeah.
What's going on? That would be actually crazy. That's oh my god. Technically, like.
Technically, right?
I was about to say age-wise, that like timeline lines up. Maybe it's weird to think because Caesar looks so he's supposed to be like younger his
I think he's supposed to be 18.
Yeah, he's supposed to be like 18 or something in part 2, but that was of course World War II era. But anyways, yeah, if that happened, I would actually lose all respect for this author because that's a bit too far. We gotta pull it back. You were pushing it with the spirit Kakyoin, but that would be a bit too far. But I think we're still stuff like this is like what really intrigues me. Adding more backstory to all these part 3 characters is so cool, so much fun. Again, we've said this before, and I'll say it again, just because this chapter keeps on giving more evidence to it. I don't know why this is advertised as like a part 4 kind of thing, even with Crazy Diamond.
I know they're
It's
heavily part 4. I get it's in Morio and stuff, but like you don't really feel like it's in Morio because they don't really go to many of like
takes
the
place in
locations.
flashbacks. Not
Flashbacks and like one or two locations. Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy.
When's Rohan showing up?
Oh my god, what? Oh man. Rohan gets around, man.
Pet sounds cool.
I was about to say we get the conclusion to this little Pet Sounds fight, which I didn't even think like, oh, he reverses the little piece of his ear back into him or whatever, which you could have guessed that from the moment he said it or whatever. I remember in our discussion, I was thinking, like, there's got to be some way that Crazy Diamond counters Pet Sounds in some way. It has to do something, but I couldn't think up of it, and there it was. It was, that was a lot of fun. And then the thing with the beak and everything like that. And now we get a bit more, like, a slightly more information about Pet Sounds' ability, where when it recreates the sound, it does the memory or whatever, which that's cool. Now we could have a full understanding of the ability. Are we thinking, okay, Pet Sounds is the name of the bird, but we never actually got the stand name. Are we just assuming it's also Pet Sounds?
Pet Sounds, yeah, I think it's like sense. Weather Report.
Yeah, that would make the most sense. Before I was theorizing like some other Egyptian god, which would kind of make sense, but I feel like at this point it would have been mentioned. So I think they're just keeping with
it's totally Pet Sounds.
Yeah. What else we got here? We're still continuing on with this Ryoku little plot line here, which seems like it's this little interaction is gonna end. I think the foreshadowing was whole horse gets shot or something, right? That was the whole thing.
It was like it was weird.
Ages ago.
Yeah, chapters ago, but this one, the one in this chapter was kind of weird. Where like the 2 holes or whatever, and one had like spikes in it.
Something.
He was like in a hole and it's his goal.
Yeah, it was, yeah, the detour will get there the quickest, and the path she's going down. Okay, so the current path she's going down will send her into spikes, so she has to do it in some sort of roundabout way, I guess that's what it's saying, but like, I don't know what it's gonna mean. We'll figure it out. Also, I'm not sure how he's gonna get shot. I swear to God, if they bring back freaking, Oingo and have him be shot and recreate.
That's pretty funny.
That would be funny, but I don't know where he is. Where is Oingo in all this? Where's Blink?
I'm kind of surprised. Boingo, I think, is just like there, but we didn't see him this chapter.
Okay. I was about to say, I thought he was with Josuke or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's gone. Oh, yeah, the Muda part. We glossed over it a bit at the very beginning, but I do think that's a really, really good like page turn moment. Yeah. He's like,
that was great.
The final attack, and it's the world attack. But then I was confused why we didn't see it or whatever. But then, it turned out it didn't like actually activate or whatever. It was great. I want to train a parrot to be able to do stand rushes, like mimic stand rushes. Yeah, that'll be cool. Oh, yeah. I like the visual of the beak being like reformed and it's all like cracked and everything.
Yeah.
That's a cool visual. I like it. The art
And
continues to be
obviously with it being a callback to Pet Shop.
Yeah. I think it's cool how it's mentioned that this guy doesn't actually have a stand of his own or whatever. He's just using so technically he can't even see Crazy Diamond or whatever. He's just kind of where there was some sort of line somewhere where he was like, I'm above you stand users or something like that. Yeah. Yeah, he's like, don't push your luck just because you were born with a stand. Yeah, he's kind of, yeah, that's a cool little character trait. Much more characterization than we get for like most like I'd say the amount of character we get for him kind of falls into like the amount we get for like part 4 villains or like part 6 villains. Not quite as much as we get for like part 5, but definitely more than like part 3 minor villains.
I find it kind of funny that Josuke wasn't even born with a stand either.
Yeah,
he got it after Dio like activated it in the bloodline or whatever.
Yeah, but of course this guy wouldn't realize that. So
yeah, no, it's still funny.
It's still cool. Unless we're breaking continuity here. A fail on the author's part.
Again,
right?
my major theory that I has to be true at this point with the whole Kakyoin and stuff is that once Pet Sounds gets like killed or whatever, all of the memories will get like erased from them that they had to replay or whatever. Because
if it doesn't, I'm not sure what I'll think about.
And this probably just isn't a canon series. I don't know.
It can still be canon technically. It would just be weird. It would just be like
It's just weird. I just when
why Josuke never mentioned it.
Yeah.
That's all. It would just be a bit confusing. I wouldn't think it like it wouldn't be that
it's like
hole,
it's like Purple Haze feedback where it's like, you know, it doesn't
like
really contradict. It doesn't contradict the manga, but it contradicts the anime, which the anime was what Araki said for Fugo's backstory. Araki like made the backstory for the Part 5 anime.
Yeah, before
completely contradicts it.
Before the anime, there was just like on Fugo's like profile or whatever. I think there was a tiny little blurb, and then we have Aluzo gives like his profile or whatever in that fight. Like he did research and it's like, I heard you got kicked out of university or something like that, and that was all we got. But then Araki actually went in and like filled in the gaps. Probably because he was originally planning on showing the full backstory later
when he came back,
but
yeah.
Then he dropped that plot point. So
probably the most obvious dropped plot point in all of JoJo.
Probably Flashback Man.
Flashback Man. We have to mention it.
Get your Overdrive checklist out. Flashback Man is mentioned in a video not even related to Part 8. Check. Anyways, back to this chapter. Right after that, we get the absolutely sick as hell double-page Dora Rush spread. Beautiful, wonderful. I don't think we've only gotten like individual punches up to this point. I'm pretty sure, not a full rush.
Yeah, I don't think we got a full rush. As far as I
remember. But this is very good art. I'm a fan of this. This is some classic stuff. This is the first time that Crazy Diamond has done a stand rush in like decades.
Yeah.
Like in from our perspective, of course.
Yeah. That's so funny because obviously this is like fan translated, like not by official Viz or whatever. And the day we're recording this, the latest volume of Part 5 came out, and they just adapted the 7-page Muda.
Oh,
which obviously is another.
Oh, really?
So it's funny that like we're viewing this now and we're like, it's been 30 years since the last stand rush for Crazy Diamond, and it's like and Viz is so damn slow. I have to complain. I have to complain because it's just
fill out the check mark complaining about Viz releases of JoJo.
It's awful that Part 7 can't be read by most people because people will just go like, Part 7, where can I read it? And then they're just you can't except for online.
Eventually, all of these Crazy Diamond podcasts just turn into some slight tangents because they're relatively.
There's a ton to talk about. You guys, I mean, we're gonna talk about what we want to talk about.
I saw a meme on Instagram that was like me speed reading through Steel Ball Run and Jajolian to catch up to Part 9, and it got like
so bad
likes. I'm like, no, why?
So bad.
Just read it regular. Don't like skim through it. What do you do? Stop.
Or I see people that are like,
it's comedic. I get that's like a joke, but at the same time, it's likely they're not joking.
No, but like a lot of people aren't, and like with part 8, especially now, part 8 is just getting skipped over, and I just don't understand why people would be like, I love JoJo, but can I just like skip part 7 and 8 to read part 9 as it's being released? Like, if you like JoJo so much, why aren't you trying to read all of it?
And connecting back to this, see how I connected back together? See, I'm not that bad. People won't read Crazy Diamond because I don't know. I guess
they have to read. I guess
I don't, because I think that the whole part 9 right situation right now is that it's just a bunch of like hype culture right now. As
it'll
the whole internet
by,
is built on anticipation. In
literally by month 4. Whenever the first chapter of part 9 comes out that isn't literally have like some insane reveal like Rohan in the last one, the hype will dissipate and it'll be more normal. It'll be like part 8 after a little while.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing. Crazy Diamond will. I mean, I guess a big issue with it is, again, there's no official English release for it, so it's a little harder. You have to be more of a in-depth fan to kind of know where it is. It's pretty easy, but like.
Yeah, as long as you know where to look, it's not hard to find the fan translations, and they're very, 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 very good fan translations.
Yeah, especially.
It's kind of like this is a weird connection, but it makes sense. It's kind of like Mother 3, where there's a full full fan translation is out there. It has been credited multiple times for being like 99.9% accurate to the original translation.
As accurate as you're gonna get.
It doesn't, even if Nintendo released the translation, it would be almost identical. It might even be worse because depending on
they
how
would
much
probably
time
censor stuff.
was put into it, it would probably censor stuff. But it's just people aren't willing to do it just because it's unofficial, I guess.
I think a lot of people are also anime only. You got to realize too. Which is a shame.
It's a shame. I grew up reading a lot of manga. Growing up with Yu-Gi-Oh was where I got my start. I watched the 4Kids version of Yu-Gi-Oh on TV every Saturday. And then I would go to the library and I would see the Yu-Gi-Oh manga, and it was like way more like violent and stuff, edgy, and I was like, wow, this is so cool. And so I started reading manga from there. And I mostly prefer whenever I read a version of a thing and then watch the anime adaptation, or even vice versa, I usually find myself, I like the manga version better. I think it does a better job of whatever story it is. Usually, like 99% of things. Some things like I think the Golden Wind adaptation is better in the anime because I think it fleshes out more stuff. It adds a lot of cool stuff to it. But some things like Part 3 anime and the Part 1 anime are versions.
Part 1 anime is quite literally like, I don't want to go so far as to say it's a butchering, but it's a misrepresentation of the story that I think a lot of people end up thinking Part 1 is like by far the worst. Mm-hmm. But really, it has more like in-depth stuff. But when instead of they just cut out so much, especially with Jonathan. Mm-hmm. It's unfortunate, but they learned their lesson after that, and the rest of the parts are pretty well adapted. Part 3 is just lengthened, and it's way too long.
Yeah, mostly it's like either they tried to make it more filler or they tried to like shrink it. I think Part 1 and Part 3 have like opposite problems basically. But Crazy Diamond would make a great anime adaptation. It's not too long. It wouldn't take
legitimately
that much.
think I wouldn't be shocked if this was David Productions' next project. I could totally see it. Mm-hmm. Probably, it would literally, it'd be like, you could stretch it to 8, I think. That'd be a lot, but, like, you'd be stretching it a decent amount, but, some of the chapters are longer. You can make it, like, 8-episode miniseries. Mm-hmm. Really, I want the rest of the Rohan shorts adapted, though. I want all of Araki's stuff adapted before I want non-Araki works adapted into anime.
Yeah. If this concludes in the next chapter, do you think you would be like satisfied with this story?
Yeah, I just hope that they don't. I hope they remember like the journey they went on here, but I hope they don't remember the visions they saw. Yeah, that little thing. I'm like, come on.
Everything. Like I could buy Josuke never mentioning Whole Horse to Jotaro because it's just
I could totally buy that.
He
It's a random dude.
But if he never mentions the millions of the stand I mean, he could even mention that he knew.
He couldn't mention that off screen even. Yeah. That's not the biggest thing.
But the knowing
fact that
knowing Dio exists, knowing his minions exist, seeing all that stuff happen, it's a bit like, why would he never say a single word about this? This is crazy. He even mentions Dio later. Why wouldn't he not mention it then? As long as that gets resolved, I'll be like, this is good. This works out. So yeah, I'd be happy if this ended next chapter.
Yeah, I think I would like to see the author do more JoJo stuff after this.
Absolutely.
Cool. I think Purple Haze feedback manga adaptation would be epic.
As much as sometimes I'll complain about the very obvious fan service, I do enjoy it like half the time, I'd say here. Half the other time it feels a bit forced, but half the other time I'm like, this is really
especially
cool.
Because it's not Araki writing it, so there's less pressure. Like, you know what I mean? It
is a nice change of pace to see more regular traditional like anime manga fan service than Araki's weird off-brand type of fan service that he does.
Rohan showing up.
Oh my god. Yeah, that was the most obvious case. That was a weird shift. Whatever. We have a whole discussion. I was confused. I was like, did we release that video? Yes, we did. I'm losing track of time. We did. We released the video. It's out. Go watch the JoJo Lands Chapter 2. But yeah, that's really all I have to say.
I just wanted to say one last thing. Right as we're recording this, we're about to hit 2,000 subs, so by the time we're out, we'll be beyond it. So just wanted to say thanks, guys. I don't know. We've recorded a ton of videos this week.
We have like
one more. We have a good backlog for April. And if you're watching all the way to the end here, we can be a little more candid than we are in some of the other discussions of.
I am always candid. What are you talking
I'm always candid too, but you know what I mean. People that are listening this long want to hear what's happening with the channel.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yeah, cool. Thank you, everybody. This has been fun, and here's to more fun JoJo discussions in the future. Thank you guys for watching. This has been Jojo Overdrive, signing off. I said, shut up.
Overdrive, coming through now. Coming through now. Watch where you're going. Overdrive, let the downside up to top notch. Whatever haters do.